Welcome back to the At Home with Roby show. Visit us today at andrewroby.com. That's Andrew, ROBY.com. I'm Ashley Davis along with Patrick McIsaac and Trent Haston. We're your hosts. Thanks for joining us this morning. Trent, great show this morning. Joyce Kinney from Ferguson was here. It's really amazing to see that showroom. It's over at 129 West Summit Street. I know you talk a lot on the show about seeing your vendors, your partners grow, and for them to go to the original showroom that you renovated over to Atherton Mill and now to this 10,000 square foot kind of show place. I'm sure you're very proud as much as she is.
I think it's a testament to what the Charlotte market has done over the last couple of decades. In my lifetime, my grown lifetime being in the industry, I think the Charlotte market has gone from being a good hot market in the custom construction world to being top of the mark in what's going on nationally in the construction industry on the high-end side. And Ferguson has all economic levels of plumbing fixtures and light fixtures, but they got some really nice stuff, and you can go in there and you can take your budget. I would suggest to clients, if your contractor gives you a plumbing fixture allowance or a lighting fixture allowance, be open with Ferguson about it, because they'll go, if you take pictures too of what you like on Pinterest or cut them out of magazines, but be open with them about your budget, because you can go from one extreme to the other on pricing, and you don't want to pick out a bunch of stuff that you fall in love with, realize it's triple your budget, because I'm telling you, you can get creative and get good value, and that's the fun of it.
Yeah, I agree. Just to touch on Ferguson, I mean, what a great company. I think there's so many parallels with Ferguson and Roby, having worked at both companies. I mean, it's hard work and integrity. I mean, we talk about that all the time, Trent. With our core values at Roby is that we're going to outwork, and we're going to have the best ethics and integrity. And I think that's also a testament to their growth. I mean, I think they're growing because they do the right thing. They hire the right people. They train the people well. It's just an excellent organization.
Now, I did not know that my haircut, when Reese cuts my hair, is considered an on-trend design, because my haircut is always top of the mark with what's going on in the world, just like the Park Harbor lighting fixtures they sell. I didn't realize that.
I've learned a new term today. I'm going to start using that.
On-trend. I've had the same haircut since the third grade, so maybe mine will come back. What do you
Well, if
think?
I had hair like you, I wouldn't care how my haircut looked. I wouldn't be trying to cover something up, like a forehead, or 7 of them.
I'd go with what works, my friend.
Hey,
go
thanks.
with what works.
Thanks.
I think they call me 10-finger forehead. Know what they call me? I don't know. But it's on trend, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Reese.
Never goes out of style.
I don't know. I love my barber. I give him a plug. I go to the old barber.
Have the red pole.
Man, he was Sedgefield Barber forever. I've gone there about 15 years. My dad went there. My father-in-law goes there. Our superintendent that I grew up with went there, all separately. And he has now moved to Selwyn Barber, and he's awesome. I think Reese is in his 90s. He gave.
Wow.
I've said this on here before. He gave my dad in the hospital his last haircut, and he gave Ford, my son, who's named after my dad, his first haircut, and I've shared that on my personal Facebook page. But I'll tell you something that's really, 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 really funny. My dad had thin hair like me. He had a comb over. And he loved driving the boat on the river. And his hair, and me and my buddies, this is when we were like 14, and he'd be pulling us skiing, and he was just taking a beating from us. We're ragging him. And if the wind would catch it right, his comb over would fly up. And it would be about 2 feet long straight up in the air. It was so funny. But we talk about, me and Chris Maynard that works with us, his dad had the same hair. It's real gristly, and they comb it with one of those brushes, those thick brushes that you hold in your hand. But about when me and my buddy were about 15, one night we had my mom going, and we were sitting in the kitchen, and we were trying to get my dad to shave his head or comb his hair back, slick his hair back, kind of like Ed Norton, I think, is the guy we were trying to, and he's like, don't touch my hair, and anybody that knew Ron Haston, and my mom's like, come on, Ronnie, let him do it. So we combed his hair back. He was irate. He was fuming. So funny thing is, I get Reese to come to the hospital, surprise my dad. He hadn't had a haircut. He's been in the hospital. He was sick, and I get Reese to come, our old barber, who's somewhat hard to get around. And he comes in, and my dad had gone through chemo, and his hair wasn't that stable at the time. And though he loved his dear son, pampering him, while Reese was cutting what little hair my dad had left, and he was chopping it hard, chopping it. My dad was happy, but he was staring at me like he did about 25 years earlier when me and Scott were combing his hair back. He was fuming. He's like, "You're cutting off my pride." So God rest your soul, Father. But that's good memories, and going to an old school barber is what life's about. So.
That's good stuff,
Got
man.
y'all
It
speechless
ties it all.
on
It
that.
ties it all back around to just the family
As my
aspect
dad was
of
staring
what
at me with his
Andrew
evil eye.
Roby's all about, man.
My
That's
mom's
a great
like,
story.
"I can't believe you did that. He didn't want his hair cut off."
Your dad did have some kind of a stare, and your son has the same thing,
The
doesn't
funny thing is, I walked Reese back out of the hospital. We loaded up his car. It was awesome. I was crying. I get back in. First thing my dad says, I get in his room. He says, "How much you paying for that?" I said, "Don't worry about it. How much you paying for that?" For the next 3 days, he how much you paying for that? Eventually, $50. Oh my God, that's ridiculous. But anyway,
Had to throw in travel fees on
very,
top of that.
very
House
special,
call.
very, very special memory. One of my favorite memories in life, actually.
That's a great story. All right, guys. Great show today.
Thank you.
All right, folks, for Trent Haston, Patrick McIsaac, and the entire Roby family of companies, thanks for listening. Join us next Sunday at 9 a.m. for the At Home with Roby show. Visit us today at andrewroby.com. That's Andrew, ROBY.com. And remember, you're always at home with Roby.